Once you know this one thing, it is going to massively assist navigating your reality. And this one thing is that there are hidden forces influencing the reality that we are navigating. And these hidden forces are influenced by what we are experiencing inside ourselves. At the core of what we feel most deeply is influencing the finer forces of life. It is an engagement, it is responding to what is happening within inside us. Once we hear this, it is really valuable information because then we really know that all changes that need to be made happen within inside our consciousness and our nervous system. When we break it down into nervous system dynamics, that is also really very helpful because we're navigating different nervous system states, different energetic states, which in turn influence the response of the finer hidden forces of reality. The world that we live in, the reality that we live in, is extremely receptive to what's going on with inside us. It is so acutely attuned that it can change and transform in an instant. We can transition nervous system energetic states in an instant and reflect instantly out there in the external world. Can absolutely change at the click of a button. I've actually seen this within my own life. This is said with definite experience of understanding this and an unfolding this of understanding. I remember many years ago, I've shared this story before, that I started to observe really dramatically what I was holding within my inside myself and what was being reflected. And it happened within dynamics of people, different relationships, all kinds of different just people in my life. And I started to notice that if I held someone in mind, and it wasn't me consciously doing it, all of a sudden, spontaneously, autonomously, someone would flash into my mind, and then they would appear in my reality. Sometimes it would be instantaneous. They'd flash in my mind, go around the next corner, boom, they're there. Sometimes it would literally be right there. They'd drop into my mind. They'd walk into the building at the same time. Sometimes it would take a few days. There'd be this almost this holding someone in mind, but I'm not doing it. It's just spontaneous. Someone would be within my mind, and then within a few days, I'm hugging that person. And this actually happened for about 6 to 12 months, and it was spontaneous. It just kept happening over and over again. And that was many years ago. And it's that was the real blossoming point for me. When really, like back then, when that was happening, it was just it was almost confusing. I didn't have the information that I had now. It was just something that was happening. It was like just something that I was observing and just something that was going on. Lots of things happened after that through my process. But then I started to really kind of tune into information which started to confirm this engagement with reality. This, what's happening within me is influencing out there. And it's really confronting this information, because if that's happening, then what else what else am I influencing? It can't be there's something, maybe the stuff that I don't want to happen, that's being influenced by something else. Maybe God's in charge of that and I'm separate from that and I've got nothing to do with it. But the laws of the universe are precise, and everything's spontaneously coming from within, being reflected onto the screen of space. So I have to take responsibility for everything. Oh, as I just get a little jab there, but starting to understand about my nervous system, starting to understand about more so what states I'm in: fight, flight, freeze, fawn, responses. These are all very, very prevalent, and really, it's really important to understand those states, those nervous system states, because it's in the depth of those different states that the world will respond differently to me. There'll be different situations, circumstances, people, persons. Things will be responding totally different. If I'm in a fight flight response, the world will be very reactive to what's going on. I'll be reactive, which means the world will be reactive. But going into, let's say, a regulated state where I've hit this, we could call this a ventral vagal state, which is a deep state of regulation where we've experienced peace, joy, and love. We can already feel that the world's going to be reflecting something totally different. Things will spontaneously happen differently. There'll be different doors opening, determined on what nervous system state I'm in. If I'm in a shutdown freeze response, we can feel how the world will be responding differently to me. And it's really important to tune into relationships. Relationships for me have been the most important learning process, learning tools for my journey. They've really helped me understand the mirror effect and this reflecting of what's going on within me, my wounds, everything that is happening within me, within the now moment, is always being reflected back at me. Even if whatever's going on in front of me, how I then respond is very determined on what's happening within inside me and how I then process through that situation. And we can start to move, we can start to regulate, we can start to shift and process and heal through and see the difference with how the world is responding to us. Really understanding the sensitivity, the acuteness of this response. And situations, circumstances, and people can completely transform in front of you. For example, if you have a really antagonistic person in front of you, due to how you're seeing them in the moment and how they are reflected back at you, and how we then move forward will be determined on how regulated you are. How you see that person is determined on your nervous system state. In a regulated state, if someone is reactive in front of you, you'll be able to see them differently. You'll be able to hold them lovingly in mind, which then in turn helps the individual transform. But if you're in a fight, flight, or freeze response, how you respond to them will be very different as well. How you are able to hold them in mind will be very different, because you'll then be reactive, which then you'll go into condemning them in mind, seeing them in mind, throwing grievances at them, continuing seeing them as reactive within your mind because of your level of reactivity, which then precipitates and perpetuates the whole situation to blow up. It's like the fuel to the fire. It's like we're blowing into the fire where all the elements are coming together for it to be more explosive. And before you know it, the building explodes. The fire goes up. The building comes down. But when you're in a regulated state, how you hold that person in mind, it takes away all of that. It diffuses the fire. It brings everyone, it guides people, it guides the situation into harmonious resolution. And it's all happening from within inside you. It's so powerful to know this. That's why it's really important to understand this one thing, because you start to really understand how much you really are influencing the world that you are in. Determine it on your nervous system status. And the key is, when we're in volatility, when we're in where we're experiencing the contrast of life, and it is because life is so contrasting, there's so much going on at the planet at the minute, but where our level of how we can move forward is determined on how we hold the volatility in our inward space. Can we hold all of this in a loving way? Can we forgive our our fantasized enemies? Can we forgive everyone in our life? And our level of forgiveness is determined by our nervous system state. In the depth of deep regulation, we can hold our enemies lovingly in mind. And that is one of the key components of all of this. We need to be able to be with and let go and forgive everything that we've built up within, the inner grievances, the inner volatility. We need to be able to be with it lovingly. And it's through that that we help move through our own process and heal our own wounds. But we also reflect that out into the world, which helps people in our external world. We actually start not only holding ourselves, but we hold everyone in our lives going through their human experience. So start to really tune into your reality. Start to really hold in reverence the responsibility that we're actually given right now. The more that we progress, the more we become aware of that, the more awareness becomes more responsibility. We gain more and more responsibility the deeper we go into this, because we start to see how we are influencing the reactive person in front of us. How are we both going to move forward if both of us are reactive? So it's down to us to hold ourselves in this center, which then aids and helps the person in front of us move forward and hold themselves and help them resolve through our depth and level of understanding of forgiveness and love of ourselves. So, my friend, send me some love on this. Let me know where you're at on your process. Let me know if you're moving and understanding this one thing. Are you observing how receptive the world is to you? Let me know in the comments. I would absolutely love to know. But until the next video, my friends, which I cannot wait to see you already, take care, much love, and I'll see you very soon.